Good morning. I'm DK Wesley, City Manager for the City of Asheville. I'm grateful to our Buncombe County partners for continuing to create the space of coordination for local government officials and partners to speak directly to you, especially during uncertain times. Though uncertain, the weather forecast has become much clearer. And it's important that you know how to prepare and that the City of Asheville is prepared to respond. Ice storms can have serious impacts, especially on travel, power, and emergency response. That's why we're taking a proactive approach. City teams have been planning and coordinating for several days, reviewing staffing, equipment, and response protocols, so we're ready if conditions worsen. We are also urging residents to prepare immediately and not to wait until impact begins. Before I turn it over to Jeremy Knighton, Assistant Fire Chief of Emergency Management, I also want to pause and express my sincere gratitude to our city staff, the support of Mayor and Council, and our partners. From Public Works, Transportation, Facilities Management, IT Services, water crews, and utility workers, to first responders, emergency management, communications, and support staff, many of whom adjust their personal plans and work long hours doing events like this. Your professionalism and dedication do not go unnoticed. This is a true team effort, and I'm proud of the people who serve this community. We encourage everyone to take this information seriously, prepare early, and look out for neighbors, especially seniors, neighbors with different abilities, and those who may need extra assistance. With that, I'll turn it over to Jeremy Knighton, who will provide additional operational details.
Thank you and good morning. As the city manager stated, this is a true team effort, and you are a part of that team. To highlight some of the key operational readiness, APD, AFD have increased staffing. Our resource engagement and support team will be increasing the staffing to provide that 24-hour service over the weekend. Our transit is prepared and continuously monitoring and will be monitoring through the weekend to assess those route conditions and adjust service as needed. Our water resources have topped off all of their tanks and are prepared to work throughout the weekend and will be maintained at its capacity for the duration of the storm. Public Works has already been out on the streets assessing, increasing capacity with equipment and additional staffing, also preparing for 24-hour operations through the weekend. Some of our closures we want to talk about are parks and recreation community centers on Saturday and Sunday will be closed, and that includes all programming to include basketball games. The Western North Carolina Nature Center will also be closed on Saturday and Sunday, echoing the messages we've heard. The safest place to be during this storm is at home and off of the roads. And then a critical reminder about parking. Please do not park on the roads after 5 p.m. today. All city-owned parking garages will remain open, free of charge, beginning at 5 p.m. tonight for those that need somewhere to park their vehicle. This allows critical access for our snowplows as well as emergency response vehicles to speed our recovery from this storm. Parked vehicles are the biggest barriers to effective snow removal. And always, as a reminder, give those space heaters some space, plug directly into wall outlets, and if your building or occupancy has a sprinkler system, please try to maintain that 40 degrees internal temperature in the occupancy, as well as checking on it regularly. For additional updates, please sign up for AVL alerts through the City of Asheville website, as well as following us on social media through Instagram, X, Nextdoor, and the city website. Thank you and be safe. I'll now turn it back over to Lillian.
Are the water authorities able to be powered by generators during this?
Thanks, Lillian. Yeah, that's a really good question. And the answer is yes. All 3 of our treatment plants and all 41 of our pump stations have generators in place. Most of them are diesel powered. We do have a handful of propane. All of those fuel tanks have been topped off as of last night. Most of them have operating capacity, if they're operating continuously, 3 to 4 days. So let's say, and it's very important to note, especially at the pump stations, those pumps do not run all the time. They only kick on when the tanks at the storage tanks that they serve fall down to a certain level. So they're not running continuously. So that does stretch out their operational time if they have to switch over to generator power. But yes, all 3 treatment plants, all 41 pump stations do have backup power via generator.
Thank you, Clay. Another question from social media is about buses. And so I'll ask Jeremy to come up. Will the buses be running and will they be free? And also, will buses help take people to shelters?
So currently our transportation and transit are, again, like I said, monitoring road conditions closely. We realize that mobility is very important and we want to maintain that service as absolute long as we can. There are plans and preparations being made now to continue service until it's where we can't. Again, transportation to a shelter, we want to, if that's something you think you're going to need, let's do that sooner than later. I think we talked about 9 o'clock from our partners at DHHS. So let's make that decision as quick as we can so that we can ensure that safe transportation. During the event, again, we'll be prioritizing emergencies due to just impaired travel, but we realize this could be an issue and there are plans in place. But again, if the decision to go to a shelter, let's make it as fast as we can so we can ensure that safe transportation.
And I'm going to invite Jeremy up to come give an answer for how we're going to respond to emergencies.
Great question. So as I said earlier, we've been preparing for 3 days now with this storm coming. And what preparation looks like is augmenting our response with increased staffing, but also adding equipment to our vehicles, the chains, whether they're cable chains, heavy chains, but we're also going to be upstaffing with folks to use chainsaws to ensure that critical access to places. So it'll be a tiered response, but it will also be partnered up with those folks to maintain that critical access. Also, when it comes to the communications as well, we have adopted something called a PACE plan, the primary, alternate, contingent, and emergent. So as we have went through the Helene after action reviews, that's kind of where we've been focused on that. So as Lillian said, building in those redundancies is key, not only in communications, but in response. So with that staff augmentation, that's how we're addressing that. We're adding additional fire companies to our response. That's also the coordination piece. We're staffing elements of our emergency operations centers. We're in close communication with all of our partners. So again, we stay in communication on a blue sky day, but as we ramp up to that storm preparation, it's not only the responders, adding responders to the responses, but also that coordination and that level of command and control gets added as well.